Let's say you're boring. Maybe no one's ever told you that, but you sometimes get a sinking feeling in your stomach that hints at it. Or maybe someone has told you you're boring and it makes you feel like worthless. You want to be interesting and fun, but you're trapped in the prison of your limited social skills. But what makes you so boring? You do. The prison bars are made of your own negative beliefs and you can't seem to squeeze through them. If there's one thing you're good at, it's tricking yourself into believing that you suck. How fun. Though the fact that you did this to yourself is actually good news. You can turn it around. You're looking at it all wrong, and that's why you still feel the same way. And I'll try and prove it to you. People don't care if you're interesting. They care how you make them feel. Here's a thought experiment. Picture yourself alone at a fancy cocktail party that you have to attend for work. You would like to talk to people, but you aren't sure what to say. At different times during the evening, two different people approach you and make conversation. Here's how it goes. Bob approaches you. You find out he just bought a boat, a 35 feet with twin engines. He wrecked his old one racing it off of the coast of Portugal last year and almost died. He's been doing kettlebell workouts to get his body back in shape, and it's working great. He thinks the wine they served at the cocktail party is shit, and he bets they don't have a single real sommelier in the building. He's going to do something about that actually, because he knows the guy that owns the place. He leaves his number on a napkin and says let's get coffee before he answers his Bluetooth headset and runs off. Larry approaches you. He said he was feeling a little shy and he noticed that you were standing there alone. He doesn't care for big parties full of strangers. He asks if you like Doctor Who. You aren't really, but you say you have heard of it, and there is an awkward pause. He asks you what you do for fun, and you say you love doing archery and Renaissance fairs. He's never done anything like that, but he's interested to know more. Do they do those around here? What time of year? Do you have to dress up or can you just go? When's the next one? Larry says if you ever need someone to go with you that he's down, and he asks if he can add you on Facebook. Okay, whom are you going to call? Bob or Larry? Was it more important that they were interesting, or was it more important that they were interested in you? You don't have to relate to everything. Fight that urge. Just be interested. If you make somebody else feel interesting, they will think the world of you. I have cool hobbies. I make knives and tools in my metal shop. I like to take hallucinogens and go to music festivals. I don't talk about them. People don't give a shit, and that doesn't hurt my feelings. Nobody is ever going to get a warm and fuzzy feeling from you because you have a cool hobby. Most people are shy when it comes to making friends. Some people do walk around just bored and disinterested in others. Learn to recognize them and pay them no energy. Take some time to appreciate yourself. Stop calling yourself boring. You aren't a fucking jester here to entertain people. You're an entire human being with just as much validity as anybody else. Love yourself for who you are and help other people feel good about themselves, and you will never feel lonely again. Just remember to ask, what do you do for fun? Before going to a social event, develop the habit of visualizing the entire social event or meeting or date in your head as going well. Run a small movie about the event in your head. See yourself laughing and others laughing. Hear what you hear and notice how you feel. Imagine everything going extremely well and that people around you are having fun and taking special interest in you and in what you're saying. Be a good listener. If you mastered this one skill, people will see you as a very interesting person and someone fun to be with. All you need to do is pay attention to what people are saying and stop thinking about how you are being perceived. By making the story in your head about them, not you, you are going to notice how your level of anxiety has dropped greatly or even disappeared. This is simple. You are no longer trying to impress them with stories about yourself or your personal interest. You are simply letting them tell you what's interesting for them. And as long as people are talking about themselves, they'll never get bored. If you find it difficult to show genuine interest in other people's stories or personal interest you don't share with them, then there's a tiny yet effective trick to use here which would shift your thinking about people's story. Believe that in every story you hear there is an important lesson to help you with your life or information about the other person's inner world. This will help you take a special interest in other people's stories because there is now something in them for you. I am not talking about faking it. Trust me, when you change your mindset, you'll discover how every story has valuable lessons for you to learn, no matter how seemingly boring it sounded. Also, every story gives you a peek into someone else's inner world. Things they probably won't say directly to you or they yet haven't learned about themselves. Wait for the question. Since you've given others the opportunity to talk about themselves and you were actively listening to them, they now like you. Without them telling you this, but everyone loves a good listener. Now they'll start asking you questions about yourself. This is one of the signs you suddenly became an interesting person to them, and so they want to learn more about you. Use the questions they asked as a chance to present yourself to them in a way that's interesting to them. How? Do not just keep talking nonstop until their interest in your drops. In the beginning, give simple answers and wait for the next question. If they are still asking you about the same subject, then chances are they want to learn more because they find it interesting. If they asked you a different question, then again answer moderately. Give information but do not bombard them with it. They stayed on topic and kept digging deeper. Good, keep that subject and give more information now that you know they are interested. Memorize some of the words they used in their stories and self-expression, and occasionally repeat those words to them while commenting on their stories, sharing your own stories, or asking them questions. For example, Ella said, "My last trip to Africa was so much fun. We actually had a blast. The number of activities one can do there is insane. It was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life." For example, you go, "Wow, that does sound insane. I didn't know a trip to Africa could be so rewarding and fun." Trust me, Ella will think you are one of the most interesting people she has ever met. Just don't make it sound like you are doing it on purpose or with each sentence she makes, because she might think you are just mocking her or lacking individuality and creativity. You can also do it while sharing stuff about yourself later on after the conversation had drifted into another direction. Example, "Right after my daily workout, I feel so rewarded. It's insane how simple adjustments can influence our moods." The art of questioning. This is a general note and a very useful skill to be applied at any point, whether in your social life, with your partner, with your customers, clients at work, or even with your kids. Always avoid asking close-ended questions such as, "Did you enjoy your trip? Do you like your job? Since you told me you are studying psychology, do you like it so far? Do you believe in love? Is this game addictive to you?" Close-ended questions are those that usually can be answered with a simple yes or no, or any variation of that to confirm or negate something. "I am, very much, pretty sure, I don't think so, not sure, probably, I would say so," and so on. It is understandable that close-ended questions are needed and important, but not when you want to get people to talk. Those of you who work in sales, business development, or marketing know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want your customers to give you yes or no answers, but rather you want valuable information, opinions, suggestions, and feedback. You want to learn more about their needs, expectations, and challenges. This is where open-ended questions come into play. Here are the same questions I posted above, only asked differently this time. Trip, tell me about your last trip to the Middle East. I'm interested to hear your story. Job, how does a typical day at work look like for you? Study, what made you choose psychology? Love, how can you tell when you or someone else is in love? Or if love had a recipe, what do you think the main ingredients would be and why? Game, what would you change about this game or features you add to make it addictive? These are just examples, but you can clearly see how one is compelled to talk when asked open-ended question. If you are a parent, always ask your kids this type of question. It will intrigue their thinking and help them become better communicators and ultimately affect their social life. Tell me about your day at school. What do you like the most about your friend Eric? Teach me something new you have learned today. How did that make you feel? Such questions will improve your child's social intelligence and ability to form healthy relationships. Becoming interesting can be scary at first, but you want it. Do you know the combination of fear and desire that I'm talking about? That's your green light. That's your brightly lit path away from boring. Start small, make mistakes, and learn from them.